So, was anyone expecting a flashback in this arc? Cause I forgot about that possibility, but Oda decided to drop one on me, and I was blown away. How does the idea of learning of a new location in geography sound to you? Plus, learning the what was the other thing I was gonna say? Two things we get in here special. What was the other one I said? What was it now? So this flashback is gonna give us some information about a very important event that we only learned about recently. How about we learn a bit more about the God Valley incident? Does that make your mind blow up? Because it sure did with me. Oh my God. Oh, that's the other thing. How about learning a new race of people too? Finally, we got the hint earlier in this arc. We find out a certain name of race, of a new race in here that are human-like, but not giants and not humans. So maybe something in between. And if this is what this makes me think that certain other characters, especially certain Empress, was one of these people too. Holy shit! So this is chapter 1095. What's it called? I don't even know the name of this one. A world not worth living in. I keep forgetting to give you the titles. But anyways, a quick flashback, for a recap first. In the last chapter, Vegapunk, um, Vega Atlas, Sanji, and who was with them again? They all went down on this vehicle to get control of the pacifistas again, because Kizu took control, and find Bonnie. And meanwhile, Luffy was doing really well actually. I was hoping for this, but I was not. I was scared because of the other chapter before that. He seemed to be having a hard time despite his awakening, but he was doing okay. And Frankie was the other one with him too. Meanwhile, the last chapter, I'm gonna have to like rank these chapters of Egghead. I think by the time this is done, as like which one was the best. Because at the end of the last chapter, we get Saint J. Garcia's reveal of what he is. So, in 10 chapters ago, we get a flashback from Sabo's point of view when he tried to rescue King Cobra. We see that the Gorosei and Silhouette back then were monsters of some sort, and we see he's some kind of spider or demon. Wait, what would they call it in Japan? Oh no, not onis. Those are the ogre-like things, right? I can't think of the term. It'll come back to me. And so we end the chapter. Oh, we end the chapter with Bonnie trying to kill Saint J by using a sword she pulled out of nowhere. Actually, when did that sword come from? It looked like a katana. He just draws a katana. I didn't think any of the Marines usually carry katanas except like officers. Usually when they're carrying swords, I thought those were just like cutlass looking style sword. Uh, yeah, so Saint J had come there, and as we explained in the Chen 93, he knows he has to take control of the pacifistas now because this back and forth is making it hard for the low ranking Marines to fight. And Kizu by this point is taking longer than he expected. Luffy's given a much harder time than I feel like Saint J and Kizu himself has thoroughly, sorely, underestimated Luffy's power. And so, anyways, yeah, the chapter ends with Saint J, because he what it was. I should finishes that just to finish off this recap. Bonnie was rescued by the rescue party of the two Vegapunks and Frankie and Sanji, and they were going back up, but Kizu destroyed the road, the thing they're riding up, and then they're now at the mercy of Saint J. And Luffy took Kizu out at the end of this. That's my favorite part. He took Kizu out. He didn't like kill him or even knock him out, but he got a solid punch here at the end, and it was clear too Kizu was starting to get tired as well as Luffy, and he took him out before he lost his transformation. Luffy, that is. So let's go on to the new chapter, 1095, World Not Worth Living In. We start off again with the continuation of the other Marines being told to evacuate away from the place where St. J is. It says something like Commodores or, was it Rear Admirals or Commodores? That they're not allowed to, anyone below that rank is not allowed to even look upon him. Something else too there, he seems to have some kind of ability, which I'm going to elaborate on in a bit, because I have a theory about what it is. I think I brought it up in the last video. Yeah, and so it's something of interest here. I was thinking about this in terms of where Teching 101, he was saying something. He made a good point. I didn't think about. Let me get this Marine ranks. I want to check the ranks again. I think Commodore is the one right below Rear Admiral, right? He brought up a good point about whether or not most people know about the Gorosei and whether or not they're here it is. Where's there it is. Yeah, Commodore's below Rear Admiral. He brought up a good point about whether or not other people know the existence of the Gorosei, and we do get confirmation here that there is some public knowledge to it, at least among even low-ranking Marines. One of them comments on, I've only ever seen portraits of St. J. Garcia. And then one of them though says, one of them makes a comment something about, oh, these guys are the ones above the gods of the Celestial Dragon. So clearly, like the point here, all of them are extremely surprised that he's come along. These low-ranking Marines are all extremely surprised he's come here and made his presence known. Also, too, I just realized something. He looks like a spider, and in this chapter and in another chapter where he talked to Vice Admiral Doran, he refers to people as insects, and he's insects are a common prey to many spiders, so it's very appropriate in this that like metaphor that he is calling people insects when he has the form of a spider, an awakened spider. I forgot to bring up too. He's certainly awakened, and the next scene here though, it starts out shows like the other Marines that are steering by watching this incident with St. Saturn and our 5 other people he's got surrounded there. Well, actually, it's 7 because also Kizaru and Luffy are nearby. Bonnie has stabbed him, and she and the other Marines are like ready to defend him. They're like like, hey, what the, like, you can't attack the one of the top people in the world. You'll pay for that. But this actually pisses off St. J, and his eyes do this weird glowing, and he says something to like, insects, shut the hell up, quiet down, insects. I should say it down, I can't. And he uses his power, which to me reminds me of Conqueror's Hockey. I think I mentioned that because when you watch the magic circle or the pentagram in the last chapter, it looked like Conqueror's Hockey type stuff was lightning. The lightning type effects that we have seen now with like Luffy and Kaido is happening when he does that, when he was coming out anyways. But so when he does here is after yelling at the other Marines, that power he exudes, which we see activated with his eyes or like part of that, pushes her away, and he catches her in his hand, which then prompts Sanji to try and step in and help. Then he does this again to Sanji, and he just like, Sanji looks like he's been punched square in the chin, and he falls back. And then he says at this point too, after that, like if mainly to the Marines who are trying to defend him, like, you fools! If I didn't want to be stabbed, I would have just dodged it myself. So he's just showing off here, basically, how powerful he is. And because when he pulls the katana out, well, he's holding Bonnie. He's holding Bonnie in his right hand, right? He uses his left hand. Actually, where does the staff go at that point? Because he's holding the staff he's holding a staff in his right hand, so he must have just put it in the ground. But it's funny, he at that point he's not holding. Hey, where is it, Net? Oh, that's like almost kind of little, not blooper, but I look. Yeah, there's a point where he's not even holding his staff in the next panel. He's got Bonnie in one hand, and he uses his other hand to pull the katana out and drop it, and he's not holding his stick anymore. This is a minor thing, but he pulls out the katana, and the cut through his beard just immediately starts disappearing, like the blood's gone, and then the beard is just kind of reforming. Like I should bring this down. I'm trying to demonstrate my hand. So it's like right over, right in the middle down, and it just reforms as after he's pulled it out. Right, is that good? Okay. Uh, yeah, and Frankie comments on that, like, what? His wounds are just disappearing. And Sanji too, and Sanji looks messed up. That one hit that Saint Gay did with that force he used really damaged Sanji. And then again, the Marines try to come in and aid. There's 4 or 5 of them here. We see that are within like 20 feet of where Saint J and Vegapunk and Bonnie and everyone are standing, and they try to run in to help. And then at this point, Saint J is basically gonna go on his kind of the typical like villain, like in control, not monologue, but he kind of monologues a tiny bit. But he's like, he orders the Marines like, stop, stand back. There's nothing they can do. I have control of the situation. And then he turns to Kizaru and he actually reprimands him a bit. Uh, and he's like, I can't believe you took so long to finish the mission. And then Kizaru just says, "Yeah, I'm sorry." And then he comments, "I can't move right now, so I'm not going to be able to help you." Which is again like I was worried that Luffy was going to have a hard time against Kizaru, but he did pretty well. He kind of wore out some of his stamina fighting Luffy, and then Kizaru. Saturn says to Kizaru, "It's okay. I can see why you had a problem now." He's looking to Luffy there, who all shriveled up. What's this? Come on. Okay, sorry. Uh, and now Kizaru, and this is great. This is a good aspect of I guess this is one of the shining moments. The friggin' guy Saturn actually takes that pound, so he try to kill Luffy. He gets up to Luffy and takes one of his front legs and attempts to stab him. And Luffy's completely out. He's even more out really than Kizaru is. He looks like he's just passed out at this point. I don't think he even sees Saturn in this one. Fortunately for Luffy, now Frankie's concentrating now, and he reacts in time by using one of his projectile punch he does, the strong right in this case, and pushes Luffy. Has to punch Luffy away, unfortunately, but it works to get him out of the way just in time before he would have got pierced in the middle. I'm assuming by Saint Saturn. And then Frankie doing like he did with Zoro back at Wano. He uses that same hand. He's able to grab Luffy and pull him away and bring him back to him so that he's in safety with him. Uh, um, and so then Saturn's like, you have a pretty good crew, Straw Hat. And then Frankie's kind of like, Frankie in a weird moment, he's like, look at this. Now even the world government top leaders are trying to take Luffy's head. I think he actually squeezes Luffy a little too much there, though. So now this is where he kind of Saturn kind of goes on his little monologue here, and he's like, I was not expecting you, Luffy, and Bonnie to join this battle and make things more complicated, but now you can't escape. I have all these Marines here, and this island is about to be destroyed. And he's like, if you guys manage to escape, it'll be. I would love to see how that's gonna happen now. Also, I want to bring this up because as I was just watching this, reading this earlier, I have a mini theory to throw in here. Because I was bringing up, I think, especially in the last chapter, the one before that, also my theory video I did last week about what if Saturn dies. I was thinking about how will, if the Blackbeard pirates are here, I'm thinking about how will they escape. No matter what they do here, I don't know if they're gonna steal something or kill someone. Uh, Now that I think about it, what if they do just steal that Mother Flame stuff instead and they don't kill anyone? That still would be a bad outcome. But I was thinking, because we don't know much about Lafitte, and maybe it's something else, or maybe there was technology. I'm wondering if there's a way that Blackbeard's ship is camouflaged or hidden, and he's hiding it, or no, he's not there. They're hiding that ship among the other ones, and that's how they'll escape. Or maybe they'll just commandeer one as easily that. But I was just thinking, what if there's an ability where they can hide their ship there? Because there's just so many there, and unless, well, Lafitte can fly too, so this could be null and void. If he can fly and they can just fly off the Davon in hand and maybe whatever else they're going to do, then they could just get back to their ship, which could be like a couple miles away. But I just had that random thought while I was reading this panel here on page 7 of the chapter, where during the monologue here of Saturn, Oda gives us a wide shot again of the island, or not too wide, but and then all the ships there. Cause I just see all the regular ships there, and I was thinking again, how can the Blackbeard pirates be there, and how could they escape? Anyways, that's just my mini tangent on that. So next, now Saturn addresses Vegapunk. He's like, "I'm too bad you had to betray us. Your contributions have been so useful to our military power." Basically saying, I wish you could have continued working for us and had continued this a long-lasting and healthy relationship of helping you with your experiments and you helping our military. But then he just says, "Thank you for what you've done thus far," basically. So now he begins saying, like, "I'm gonna make sure you guys die very painfully. So, and who I'll let one of you choose who can die first. I'll make sure you regret defying the world government." Uh, so now he kind of Saturn ponders to himself, why are humans always doing something they're not supposed to, when they're told not to? And he starts squeezing and kind of torturing Bonnie. He's still got her in his no, it's in his right hand, right? He's still holding her in his hand at this point, and Sanji yells at Saturn to try and stop doing that, and and then we find out, like, too, that something Saturn is still exuding something here, because uh, Sanji doesn't get out to try and save Bonnie, and he says, "Guys, can anyone else get up and move? Can we help her?" And then it's Frankie, I think, that says, "No, there's something holding us down." And then it's uh um yeah, Vegapunk says some kind of power of a devil fruit has to be that's doing this. He says, yeah, I like the way he says it. It's not science. It has to be a devil fruit. uh, and they're like explaining, like, "Oh, what do we do now? We can't help Bonnie. There's something stopping us." And again, in this part here, my next little theory is, I think some people, where did I see this? Someone was speculating, like, maybe this is a unique power of him. But I have a theory that this is, I think I said this before too, that this is probably a Conqueror's Hockey type power. I'm thinking about this. Think about like Star Wars. Hey, is that showing? Yeah. Yeah. In Star Wars, there's a dark side and light side force. So I'm wondering, with something like Conqueror's Hockey, if there could be a kind of more darker version of it, where with someone with ill intent and who's this kind of like evil and all that stuff can use Conqueror's Hockey in this way, where because this also reminds me too, where they can use, let me finish my thought, so they can use it to he can use it to stop them from moving. we kind of already had examples of this too. This is why I'm thinking about this. Oh yeah, I should look back at that chapter. But first, when we first saw Shanks use Conqueror's Hockey, when he went on board Whitebeard's ship and he was using it, it was pushing on the wood. Wood parts of the just ship were getting cracked and pushed away. And second, with Shanks again, when he fights, when he stops Green Bull, he seemed to paralyze Green Bull. I think most people are assuming it's like out of fear, but I'm wondering if he actually did something to freeze him. Like he can, it's think of it like a limited, very limited, I guess, some way, a psychic force that can stop someone in their path, in their movements, even for a short time. I should look that up later. I'll look it up later. But I'm wondering if that's what he's doing there. Not a unique ability of his awakened devil fruit zone. Speaking of zones, quickly, I looked back too in the last chapter. That one vice admiral definitely is a zone. The other one who was pursuing Bonnie. When you watch him attack again, I first saw it because when Bonnie rolled away from his next attack, you could see his feet were different. They look kind of like Kaidos or Lucci's. But yeah, when you watch him come up above holding that weapon, you can see he's transformed into an otter because he's using an otter attack, otter slam or something he called it. And you can see his face. He's gone into his hybrid form. So that dude's definitely a devil fruit zone user. So we have him and that new one, Bluegrass. He didn't get named, unfortunately, but we also got Bluegrass, who did. And by the way, she's got a pretty OP power there, being able to control things. I wonder how well that could work against very strong foes, but she looked quite powerful. But anyways, now let's get back to the present. So, now Bonnie speaks to him and is like, "You killed my father." You know, that kind of monologue type, not monologue, that kind of, we see that plot thing every time I like that. And then, so now, he, Saturn goes, "Oh, yeah, Kuma, huh? He was born a slave, and he was a remnant of a different tribe that committed a crime, not a crime. The lone survivor of the now exterminated Buccaneers people." The Buccaneers. Wait, isn't Buccaneer too like a slang term for pirates or other sailors? Buccaneers. Not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me a sec. Wait. Buccaneers. No, I don't want to know what NFL. Jesus. Give me a sec. Come on, I don't want to know about a football team. A pirate originally off the Spanish American coasts. Okay. Anyways, yes, so Oda calls Kuma and Bonnie's race a Buccaneers. And at this point, we start transitioning to a brief flashback, different one at first. There's a big flashback in this chapter, but first, Bonnie starts thinking about something Kuma once told her. And while this is happening, the other Marines there are still helping. They're like now taking aim at Bonnie. Actually, he orders them to, I think, take aim at Bonnie to have her executed. But anyways, while she thinks about what Saturn just said, she goes into this thought where he said, ever since Kuma told her, ever since I was a child, I always dreamed of being a hero and someone who could free people who are suffering at the hands of others, just like the warrior of liberation, Nika. So he knows about this, and we're going to get a little more in that in a minute. So obviously I shouldn't be surprised because slaves in general, I think it was Who's Who that said that to Jinbei, that slaves always have looked to being saved by Nika. Yeah. So now, and then younger Bonnie in this flashback is like, "Who's Nika?" And no, who's Nika? She's like, "Oh, you want to be like Nika?" And Kuma answers, "Yes, I admired what I heard about him. He would dance into action with a smile on his face." And we see a little flashback where it looks like Kuma and Bonnie are dancing together. He's kind of going like this thing, and she's like, looks like, I can't tell. She's done a little scribble. It looks like she's doing something on her hands. And we see a little singing and drumming, a little drum sounds, the dum da dum, and a little dancing together. Now, what does that mean? So, as that's happening, yeah, Saturn holds up Bonnie and orders the other Marines there to take aim with their guns to aim for Bonnie's head. And uh, Sanji and Vegapunk are yelling at, like, Sanji's trying to say Bonnie chant, like trying to help, yelling no helplessly, like, Bonnie, get out of there. And yelling at Saturn, like, leave her alone. And Vegapunk's like, how could you do that? She's just a child. Again, that's something interesting. Some people are speculating that maybe him saying child is because she's not really an adult, but she's still a little girl who's morphed herself with her powers into adult. That'll be interesting if true, but he's such an, given the age of Vegapunk, it's likely he just calls her child because he's like 60 something years older than her. So, and then Bonnie switches back to that flashback where she's talking with her dad about Nika, and she asks him in the flashback, "Will he set me free too?" And Kuma says, "Of course he will." So it makes me think too. Then, yeah, oh, so was that when? No, wait a minute. Then, how long ago has he been a warlord? That makes me that must imply. I don't know why I didn't catch this in the first reading, that she was a slave too at one time. So what did Jinbei say? Jinbei said he was a tyrant. The stories he heard, that Kuma was a tyrant who was kicked out of the kingdom and he went to pirating. I wonder if he. That's weird. So wait, because this is going to be interesting with this flashback. So now we're going to switch to the flashback. The last 6 pages here are a total flashback. And so we're going to have some pieces to put together with Kuma's life. And we get this, what we get first. Oh, wait, in the South Blue. Okay. Did they say where this kingdom was before? Actually, I don't even know if they said that before, but now we get two. If not, I was bringing up a geography thing, a location of a new island. I'm talking about God's Valley, because we figured out through several chapters ago here that it seems likely that Kuma was a slave at God's Valley, and this chapter confirms that. So, what we actually start with, though, is Kuma's birth. We see his parents, which look like a very nice couple. It's in the South Blue, and we get a panning shot of a city there on the shoreline, and there's like palm trees, and it's got some interesting architecture. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. It's got like some high top places and some weird, interesting towers. One's domed, other ones are kind of like arched, curved at the top. And then you got towers with the points, kind of like I don't know, those are church towers, something like that. And you see baby Kuma crying, like he's probably just been born. And yeah, then there was like a voice of a doctor. We don't see one, but it's like, oh, it's a boy. Congratulations. Look at the baby boy. And he says it's a very large boy. And then we see the face of his parents holding Kuma's hand. And the dad's like, here's our little boy. And she says his name. So his dad looks like he has similar features. Wait, where's Kuma's face? He has very similar features to Kuma. He's got a very big chin. He's got dark hair. So Kuma's got his dad's hair, and it's very short. While his mother, well, she's got like a round, square chin too, but she's still very pretty. And she's got this light hair. They just show it light. I don't know if it's going to be like blonde or some other color, but it's in braids. And oh, there's the doctor. They show the doctor here in the next shot. They show a nice little doctor. So so at this time, what's going on here though is you find out is Kuma's dad is one of the last Buccaneer, and his mother is a human, and can I reveal it? So the doctor and Kuma's dad have a talk, and the doctor's like, "Oh, I understand. I won't tell anything about your son. I understand." Because so the doctor here knows that Kuma and his dad in turn are of this unique race, and so we see a nice little shot of like his Kuma's dad holding the baby Kuma and his wife and him smiling. And then we get an unfortunate sad turn of events here as So apparently here, Kuma's dad's been being pursued by these people. So this is very similar. Actually, it reminds me a bit of what happened with King. So King, Kaido's right hand man, and I can't think of his real name right now. I'm just calling him King. He's wanted by the government, as we heard through one of the other pirates of Kaido's crew. And it looks like this is a similar thing happening with the Buccaneers, and his father here, Kuma's father, being the last one. And so they're hiding here in the Sorbet Kingdom, and then we see them running. You see someone running. I guess it's them trying to make a run for it. Oh, is that his wife's name? Clap with a K? I think that's his wife's name. He's saying, "Sorry, we have to run. The government spies were in that hospital too." Uh, and he's like apologizing and crying because he's like, I'm sorry this has happened. I'm the Buccaneer. You're just you shouldn't be have to endure this being pursued because you're just a human. Like, and the way he says it, I'm the one with Buccaneer blood running through my veins. You shouldn't be part of this. So maybe he's not a full Buccaneer himself either. It doesn't really specify. And he's yelling to someone like, don't take my wife in. She's not part of this. I'm the Buccaneer. And unfortunately, though, we have a next panel where we see them captured. So this is actually also, this is years later, by the way. I should point out, this is not immediately after the hospital. They must have waited. Kuma here looks like he's anywhere from 2 to 3 years old because he's rather small, young looking, but he's also very big. Remember, so this thing here too, I gotta stop and clarify. Apparently, the Kuma's size, like I was trying to say in the beginning, is unnaturally large. And we see this here that Kuma's dad is huge. So it's hard to say exactly because we got his mother sitting down in a spot, and in this panel here, they got captured, and his dad's all beat up. It looks awful. He's wearing some kind of probably this raggedy slave outfit or something now, and they got him chained up, and they got Kuma chained up, and I can't really see anything on his mom, but she's sitting in with them, and she's trying to comfort young Kuma, and she's probably chained up well too. But this is the last time we're gonna see her, because then we switch to what I guess is Marijwa, and we start seeing how Kuma himself is being leashed around by walked around with like the chain as a leash by one of the celestial dragons. And he's being forced to carry a crate with some pottery on top of that. And another celestial dragon's like, "Oh, look at your slave! Look at his strength! It's amazing." What do they call him? A Bachian slave? Is that supposed to be a Buccaneer slave? I don't know what that means. And then we get the parts, switch the parts. We kind of hear what we're seeing now is the life Kuma led when he was being a slave. And we see the next thing when he's getting beat up or kind of tortured and beat up punished, I should say, by the celestial dragon. I don't know if he's using a whip. Yeah, it looks like he's using a whip. It's kind of small panels, but it looks like the lines are showing a whip swinging around. And he's being punished because he's not moving fast enough for this dragon, his owner's liking. And then we see him like crying and stuff, and then the guy is just reprimanding him, like, "Shut up! Don't do you want to die?" And I think he's holding a gun at that point. And now we switch to a point where his dad must be in the ownership of a other dragon, celestial dragon. And now they're talking to each other one day while their owners are like talking in the background. We see 3 of them, and his dad checks in on him like, "How you doing?" And Kuma's doing a good job putting on a brave face. He tells his dad like, "Yeah, my master's nice. I'm so lucky to have someone like him." But now at this point, his dad tells him some sad news about his mom, that she's died and in heaven now. And he's sobbing away, the dad, and he's like, "She's in a better place now." And now Kuma just like loses it. Man, poor Kuma. He does I thought that was the dad at first, but no, it shows Kuma. We get this big shot of Kuma sobbing at this, learning about his mother's death. And this is where the chapter title comes from, Not Worth Living In. because he's basically saying he says to his dad, like, I don't want to live anymore. I'd rather die now. And his dad's trying to tell him, no, you have to live on. You can't give up. The warrior liberation's gonna come and save you. And this is the first time Kuma hears of it. And he's like, who are you talking about? And we get a brief panel redrawn of the iconic the look of Luffy with the little spears and jumping in front of the moon. And Kuma is there explaining to him. Also, there are like other slaves present when he does it. He's like, the god of sun, Nika. He's a warrior of legend whose stories been passed down through our people, the Buccaneers. Okay, and then he said, yeah. He goes on to say, one day he'll free us from here and take us back to the world below and under the ocean under the sun. And he's a guy that's always laughing. And he goes on and then goes on, yeah. He moves in a rhythm and makes people laugh. And he's like, yeah, so Dad's doing a really good job of telling a story, and he's even got Kuma to kind of calm down about his mother's passing. And his dad's like dancing around, oh yeah, that's right, he's doing a little dance we just saw. That's cute. So we just saw Bonnie and Kuma dancing, and now we see his dad. That Kuma learned to dance from his dad. He's doing a little da dum da dum. Oh, and these guys are smiling and everything. And then they get stopped there because the stupid celestial dragon is like shooting, like, hey, shut up out there, you're too loud. So now this is where we get to one of the good part of the flashback. We get this, what we find out what's happening here is now we switch. So actually, what is this? So he must be 9 now. Okay, wait, right? Wait, I can't do math today. No, he's 8, right? Let me see. I can't do math. 8. Yeah, he's 8 at this time. Because we switch to 38 years ago in the West Blue. And we see a bunch of celestial dragons together in some town. I can see his shops to the left side of this panel. And he's on some kind of platform. And this guy's hosting. So wait, I'll just read it. Thanks for waiting, everyone. Every 3 years, the time has come that we do every 3 years. The Population Eradication Tournament. This year, the tournament's going to be held at a non-government affiliated island, God Valley. And we get a great shot of God Valley with the split rocks, and a bunch of ships are coming up to it. So I'm kind of partially confused here. I think this God Valley, as I understand it, is so this God Valley is not part of the world government. And we get this explanation from some of the random celestial dragons, like, what? They named it God Valley? I think I'm understanding this way. How could they shamelessly name an island after us? Because they consider themselves gods. And so then they go on like, here this year this island will hold our long tradition of hunting natives. So that's one of the fucked up parts we have to add on to this. Apparently, this population eradication tournament is a thing where they pick an island that's not part of the world government, especially I'm assuming, and they go there and just randomly hunt civilians for sport. And then they say, the last panel there's like of the random celestial dragon speaking says, this country is now our property. And we get a couple shots here now of the king of this land, and he's probably just heard what they were saying, like that the stuff that laid over in that last panel was probably being said to him, and he's like, what are you guys doing? This is my island. You can't my land. I represent the people. You can't kill my people just for your sport. And another woman's, is that his queen, maybe his wife? She's like, Your Highness. No, she just says Your Highness. So maybe it says someone who works for him. I can't think of the word. And I think she's trying to stop him, but he gets cut down with a sword slash. And in this next shot, we get to see Saint Garling, the leader of the God's Knights, in his younger years. And I see the resemblance to Shanks now. He basically looks like Shanks. He's got the same hairdo. Wait, I was gonna pull up here too. He's got the same hairdo. You actually see him in a different outfit. He's wearing that same cloak, I believe, that you see in 1086, I believe it was. Wait, let me pull that up. It was 1086. Here it is. Yeah. So he's got a similar hairstyle. The only difference is, so he's got the curved hair on the top, but he doesn't have those side bits that they showed here in 1086. And he's got the same sword. Uh, and he's wearing, no, his cloak is different now. So he has a cloak on, but this one he's wearing in the past has a fluffy collar that curls away, and it's well, the one he's wearing in the past is he's cloaked in that one in the past, something like it in the present, but he had like high, closer collars, like a uniform. Actually, he got collars kind of like that in the past. No, is that part of the other? He's got like a black collar in the past one. That's part of like a waistcoat. It looks like, or like a vest, And he's wearing like a white shirt underneath that goes past his belt line, and that has vertical black stripes on it. And he's got a belt, which I think is wearing the buckles are the world government symbols. The only other thing that's similar to the past one is it's got those two. He's got two world government symbols on his left breast side. Well, I can't. Yeah, his left side here. And yeah, and that on his past in his present outfit when he's got the big cloak or coat on, he has that up on the more looks like it's on his sleeve, and then he's got like armor on too. He's got some stuff coming around over his shoulders. He's got some for the gauntlets, parts on his wrist. I gotta remember my camera can't see me well, can it? Go like that. Nope, this way. It's going down this way. The armor's going that way. The express coat kind of stops at his mid level. He's got similar boots on, but then he's also you can see that his lower legs are protected with armor as well. Actually, you know what I just realized too? I gotta clarify. I think I said something in the chapter 1086 because I was reading the unofficial one back then, and I didn't clarify this afterward. I think the unofficial chapters of 1086, when they introduced Garland in the present, did not call him the king of God Valley or something like that. But no, when I read the official chapter today, it said he was the man who passed sentence over the other Celestial Dragon, our friend. I can't think of his name. It said this man was a distinguished figure, uh, uh, a figure who was once distinguished. Excuse me. A man who once distinguished himself at God Valley, and today, so in the present, he's the supreme commander of the God's Knights. But at this point, it looks like he's not. It just has the title card reads God's Knights, Saint Figurlin Garling, and yeah, looks a lot like Shanks. So he cuts down that king. And someone else, and I think one of those dresser dragons, like saying to him, "Please wait, Saint Garland. Don't cut anyone down yet. Like the game hasn't started." Yeah, this is where they say, "Oh, it looks like he went and killed the king of the natives." And then we see behind him, there's a bunch of female ladies of the celestial dragons, and they all like fawning over, like, "Oh, you're so wonderful." Let me put it this way, and so then someone says, take minus 10,000 points from Saint Figureland for the start. So it looks like he's participating in this, even though he's also supposed to be like their bodyguards, I guess. And so the next thing you point out is like this is where the slaves come in. It looks like what they're doing this in God's Valley is they're going to bring in slaves with them, and they're going to use them as part of the sport. This thing it reads in addition to the natives, you will round up problematic slaves, but I don't make sense. I think that means is the slaves are going to be let go and allowed to run away, but they're going to be that's part of the game is to bring them back as for the sport. Now we get a panel. The interesting thing here is we get a panel here. Oh, okay. So I'm confused here because I thought this was on. Oh no, I see what happened. I think I understand this now. Oh, I was reading this wrong. So we get a little panel here where it looks like what happened. Kuma, when they dropped off these slaves, brought the slaves here to God Valley. Kuma made an attempt to escape, and he successfully got away from his cage. And this is tied back to the flashback we saw about 20 chapters ago. And but he gets captured. We saw, and we see here Saint Saturn is there too. It's present at this competition on God Valley, and he gets a report from someone, probably one of the cipher pulse. There's someone dressed up in the suit and a hat. It's not like the Marines. And it's reports from, sir, we found that child escaped, and the Buccaneer child. And now we get to the last page of the chapter, and we cut back to those other slaves who have captured him. I think they're other slaves. And he's like, you bastard, why'd you try to escape? If you're running away, it's going to put us all in jeopardy. Wait, the 10 of us have to take. Wait a minute, I want to check something too. Where's the other chapter where they show that? No. 1078. No, was it 1074? Somewhere around there. Let's see. I can see these panels. Oh, here it is. Yeah, 1074. She was looking at him there. Yeah, and these other people start beating him. Okay. So the other, I think these other slaves that went after him, they were ordered probably to help chase him down, because then under the threat that they'll be yeah. So I think the way they're dressed, I think he's being captured by other slaves. Now we get to the end of the chapter, the last panels. This is great. Someone above, while they're other slaves or whoever are dragging him away. These other people at the top of a rock stop them, and the first one's like, "Hee haw! Stop right there!" I'm trying to hold off revealing him. Hint, hint. Hee haw! And he says to Kuma, "Oh, you're the prize for this year. I hear you're from the last of the Buccaneer tribe." Oh, here it is. I hear Buccaneers have giant's blood. Okay, I did mess that up earlier. I was thinking this is different. So the Buccaneers are like half giant and half human. How the hell did that work out? So okay. Okay. So and now we get the last panel here, and we meet two characters. One of them we already know, and they introduce both as slaves. Emporio Ivankov and Ginny. And Ginny is the sister to Ivankov, although he doesn't have her, doesn't show her last name, so I don't know if that means it's a blood sibling. Maybe it's the same thing like Ace and Luffy. And we see Ivankov in his youth, and he's got the same face. You can tell right away it's him. He's got the big poofy hair, like imagine my hair on steroids. And let me silence this. He's posing. I think that's a pose he did. He's got his arms up posing, and he's wearing he's wearing like a very short speedo type shorts or something, kind of like Frankie would wear, and a flowery t-shirt. No, it's cut off though. And the girl Ginny is just wearing shorts and a tank top type thing, and she's eating like a lamb meat off a bone though. And so basically what's going on here is Ivankov is like trying to inspire him. I think he comes in very flamboyant, like he does, "Hey, I'm here," uh, and so if I missed that joke before, but so Ginny says, "Oh, you're from the Buccaneers Club. My brother's a big guy too," and Ivankov's like, "No, it's just my face. I'm not that big." I mean, he actually is really tall though. It's odd. So we still don't get why some people like Kizu too is quite tall, and Akainu and others. But anyways, I'll get more into that in a minute. and he's like, and Ivankov's like, look at you guys down there. You're all so sad and defeated already. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm gonna live on. I'm gonna survive, basically. What about you? Will you choose to lie in defeat and wallow in despair, or will you live on like me? So he's trying to inspire, you know, hope into the Kuma and presumably these other slaves that were with him. Because I think these guys were all together, like they're being in groups, and then they're implying here that if he escaped, they'd all be punished as well for letting him escape. Also, I think the reason he's trying to escape, I think what's obvious here too is that as part of the sport, that none of these slaves, Kuma, Ivankov, Ginny, and these others we can see wearing a collar or anything anymore. They were brought in cages, and another panel showed other ones in cages in the last page next to the panel here next to Garling, and yeah, they're all without their collars and probably being allowed to run around the island, which is probably why they have all those ships too around the island. We see dozens of ships. Part of that is probably there's like a contingent of Marines there to keep the making sure the slaves don't try to escape, as well as I'm assuming lots of food and stuff for these slavishly dragons, celestial dragons. So that's where the chapter ends, and we got a break next week. But boy, did we get a lot to go over. We got Ivankov, Kuma, Garling. We got his parents. We got all these characters, and this is so chapter end. Yeah, obviously, given the year, this 38 years ago, we're right before the point where the Rocks crew is about to roll up, and I'm really hoping that's exactly we're gonna get. Like Oda's clever with his flashbacks. I've been realizing, especially like what he did with several chapters ago when he brought us more information about the Reverie incident, and seeing stuff from the angle of Sabo and King Cobra, and he did the same thing. He did stuff with Kaido. We got a little bit of Kaido's flashback, and we jumped from like maybe being like 10 through 21. So and because he was 21 when this incident that the Rocks crew incident happened. So he we had a Reverie arc hundreds of chapters ago. Then we saw more information there, and we get a little bit about Kaido, but especially with Kaido's thing too, we didn't get a lot about what happened. We just saw him like get kicked out of his island, get escaping Marines, then going to Full Lead Island, and Whitebeard bringing him help, like saying, "Hey, Rocks wants to talk to you. You should join us to be a pirate," type thing. So recruited or conscripted essentially into the pirate crew of Rocks. And then we get a little bit afterward where all the other pirates at Full Lead Island are like, what? They got defeated at some place by. How could all those people? Did they know it was God Valley? I forget how the chapter said that. They got defeated. How? There was like several top contending these great pirates on there. They couldn't get defeated, and we didn't see anything else about that. And so, what I'm trying to get at in my little tangent here is I'm sure that we're not going to see everything about God Valley still in this flashback. I have a feeling we'll see Rocks. That's what I'm really hoping for, and I've seen other people always saying the same thing. Maybe we'll get Rocks' reveal, a face, proper face. We got kind of a thing in chapter 957 or episode 58 or 958. They get a decent, but shining show with like evil eyes and a grin. We didn't really get like him looking. It's almost silhouetted, is what I'm kind of saying. So hopefully we're going to see that. I'm just not sure. Basically, what I'm thinking is they'll show. I'm wondering like how much can they show? Will they show Roger and Garp? Maybe Garp's. No, Garp wouldn't want to go there. I was gonna say maybe Garp's there as part of the security. But is Garp and Roger gonna roll up? And we're gonna get to see part of the fight. There's so much. Also, I don't think I made this clear. I don't know if I said this right. I don't think I said this, but when they show 38 years ago, this is the West Blue. So I was checking again. Characters from the West Blue included people like Shanks. So maybe Shanks is probably here as a baby. Actually, that's the thing. Shanks is from the West Blue, they said, but this does that mean he's, because people are saying he's St. Garling's son, but St. Garling's in God Vale is not, doesn't live here. He lives in Ridgewa. So what does that mean? Was he raised there as a little kid for a while? Like, does Roger find him? Because the implication was that I know they say Roger finds him. That implication. Uh, but he even says to Whitebeard, "I'm from the West Blue." So I'm wondering if like Shanks is Garling's son. This place, the shit goes down here. Shit hits a fan. Roger takes in Shanks, but maybe he doesn't raise him. Maybe he takes him to another island and he's raised there and then comes back for him. I'm just a little surprised because I was a little surprised that Roger took in Shanks, raised him as it were, as we knew it before, but Shanks didn't want to take Luffy with him, and Luffy was so adamant about wanting to join him 12 years ago. Also, but what I wanted to get at too is I was looking at the West Blue. That's also where Robin and so I was trying to get at is I was trying to think about who else would have been there in this region of the world and alive when this incident happened, and like I wonder how they knew about it. And the main ones I saw, other than Brooke is from there, but he's at this point in the Florian what do they call it in there? Florian Triangle, and he's been there for 12 or 14 years. I forget the 2 year. So he's not here now. Robin's from there, but she hasn't been born yet. She's 30, so this is 8 years earlier, before she was born. But Gecko Moria and Beige are also from there, and but also Beige was only 4, I think it was, when I found it only 4 years old when this happened. He's 42 now, but and Moria, yeah, what did I put here? Yeah, Moria was 50. Who is 50 now would have been 12 years old at the time. So I'm wondering how much. I'm not saying anything about him being here, obviously. Again, I'm just thinking if this place like blew up or something happened here, like, well, we don't know. The Mother Flame is something that Vegapunk has. So I'm just thinking about like if this place blew up or something like that. Say for that example, and other people on nearby islands are like, "What the hell happened over there? What is that?" Like, so Moria would have been maybe closer by. These oceans are obviously very huge, though, so it's possible he's not that close. But he's the only one I saw here that I caught when I was checking the main people known there. That was and oh yeah, the other Rumbar pirates are from there, obviously, because Brooks' crew. But I mean, most of them didn't look like they'd be old enough. But of notable characters, I'm thinking about, yeah, especially Gecko Moria that I can see in this list here that would have been alive and old enough to like be like, holy shit, something went down in an island not far from here in the West Blue. What the hell happened? Anyways, we don't know what's going on with Moria now, so maybe we'll never hear anything about that. But I just thought that would be an interesting tidbit. So yeah, this was the hell of a chapter. We got a little more about what Saint Saturn. We see his personality, using the word insects. He got something going on there, some kind of power, which could be unique. And then this flashback. What another heartbreaking flashback. God damn it, Oda. That's right. We got Robin and Brooke and Nami's flashback. Now we get Kuma's flashback. And seeing him enslaved. This is just like again. This reminds me too of Robin's a bit because they were on the run from like his father's heritage, ethnicity, as it were, and they got captured, unfortunately. And his poor mom. We don't even know how she died. I'm assuming she was being enslaved there, but I don't want to think about what happened to her there. So, but there's a lot to talk about here. A new tribe, hybrids, giants, and humans. Is that what Big Mom is? That's the thing I was hinting at earlier. Is Big Mom maybe a hybrid of giants and two? Wait, her parents looked normal though, right? Yeah, but still, what if one of their parents was a buccaneer and we didn't know about it, and they didn't mention that? Big Mom. Let me look at that. Yeah, her parents were normal, weren't they? Because she's like the biggest person we've seen We don't wait. How big is Kuma? We know he's tall as Big Mom or close enough. Wait here. Let me look up. She's 28 feet 10 inches. How big is Kuma? Kuma. Come on. Wait. It says he's 22 feet. So yeah, he's still not as tall as her. So uh, that still makes me think she could be a. Is there a picture here when she was a little kid? No. Good God, 28 feet. Kuma's 22. Oh God, look at that picture. You can always see. I was just looking at this picture of Lin Lin, Big Mom. When she's 28, yeah, she's looks extremely hot. And then when you see her 20 years later, she's already like looking the way she kind of does now. She's getting a little chunky, eating too many sweets. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to find another time to make another video about this now. This is like so much to go over. The idea that this place, because I thought God Valley was probably in the Grand Line. I got to review a video when I was talking about. I had a video I was talking about stuff with that where it might be, and I was doing a theory. I think that was with Zebek because I was talking about Zebek, like because he wanted to be king of the world. Now the question is too: did he come here knowing what was happening, and what was his plan to interfere here? Was he going to try and take out as many of the celestial dragons as possible? Because it looks like Saturn was there too. So there's just a lot to go over with this bit. So I'm gonna try to find time this week to do a second follow up and go over this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video here today. So thanks for watching.